Hey, Holy Family, Family Faith folks. Good to be walking with you, excuse me. One more segment of our pilgrimage. This one focused on the grace and the sacrament of mercy. And I don't know about you, but I think we all need this grace. So, there's a beautiful story about a man named Mr. Riva. And I think you're going to get to see him. And his face is profoundly deformed. And it's a rare disease, not life-threatening, but there's no cure for it. So he's looked like this since he was a little kid. And I guess my invitation to you would be to imagine walking around today looking like Mr. Riva, going to school, going to recess, going to practice, you name it. Shortly after Pope Francis became Pope, Mr. Riva went to St. Peter's Square and he participated in the special prayer service at noon. And after the prayer service, Pope Francis went around to greet some people, and Pope Francis sees Mr. Riva. And then he walks towards Mr. Riva, and Mr. Riva's like, whoa, what's going on? And then the Pope just embraces him. And initially, Mr. Riva's like, I don't know, the Pope. And then eventually, Mr. Riva embraces the Pope. So now we got the Pope and Mr. Riva, hugging it out. And then about a month later, some journalists caught up with Mr. Riva because the pictures of this encounter just went viral, as they say these days, as you young families say these days. And they said to Mr. Riva, like, hey, Mr. Riva, what was it? Like, what was going on there? And Mr. Riva says to the journalists, and I quote, the whole thing took 90 seconds. No words were spoken. Sometimes you can say more when you say nothing. He held me in a long, strong embrace. And then he caressed my face. I'm not contagious, but he didn't know that. Love that line. I also asked myself, when's the last time his face was ever caressed? The only time his face is ever touched is with those blue medical gloves on. Now we have the Pope caressing Mr. Riva's face. And then he says, and then he kissed me. When's the last time Mr. Riva was kissed? And then he kissed me. And then Mr. Riva says, I can't describe the energy. I felt only love. My life will never be the same. One of Pope Francis's lines that I love is, he says, usually when people come to him for reconciliation, he says, please, I beg you, let yourself be mercied. And the real beauty in that line is it tells us that in order to receive God's mercy, we have to cooperate. We have to let God get to us. We have to let God touch us. We have to let God allow us to begin again. Saint Benedict says, always we begin again, but only if we cooperate with God's mercy. So I pray that during this segment of our pilgrimage, that we allow God to get to us, to hold us, to shower us with mercy so that we can begin again. Because that's what happens when we get mercy. After we receive mercy, we're sort of free to start over, After the fight, after you said you're sorry, like, okay, when we're back together again as a family. It's what God wants. So, during this segment of our pilgrimage, let's allow ourselves to be showered with mercy so that we can begin again and again and again and again. It's a privilege to walk with you on this pilgrimage. Thanks, Family Faith folks. Blessings.